What's up, guys? It's Kara here, and I wanted to talk a bit today, kind of a second video stemming from the video I posted, if you didn't watch it, talking about my history with eating, body weight, binging. Forget the name of the exact video, we'll link it below. But kind of stemming off that video, I wanted to talk a bit more about trying to repair your relationship with food, repairing your relationship with your own body. This is something I'm extremely passionate about. I've been striving for day in and day out, especially since my last competition, as you guys know. It's something I've been more mindful of and just really passionate with helping others because I've seen so many people be more open about their struggles, and I really want to help people with this challenge. So, briefly, if you guys didn't watch that video, I lived a lot of my life kind of restrictive with my diet and just overall very focused on body weight, very focused on my body. Thinner was better, eating less was better, and almost, as sad as it sounds, defining my self-worth based on my body weight. And that's a really strong thing to accept and to analyze, because to really sit there and base how valuable you are as a person and to let a number on a scale or how you view your body dictate your self-worth in this life, it's a lot to swallow, and it's something a lot of people I think can relate to. And so I want to give some tips and kind of talk about how to begin repairing. Where do you go? It can take a long time to actually realize that you're someone that's even struggled with that. I know for me, I think it took me a while to really identify that it was something I struggled with, and it was something that was starting to impact me as I got older. So the first step is obviously just realizing you are someone that struggles with that. And I think a lot of us do. And it doesn't matter if you're underweight, overweight, at a healthy weight. Don't judge others. You never know what someone's going through, and we can all be struggling with things like this. It can have a tendency to make you very anxious if you're someone that struggles with, food and body weight, to just live your life on a daily basis. It can be really crippling in a way. So, the first step is just identifying that you are someone that struggles with it and that you're ready to kind of make a change and you want to feel healthier and happier. How do you go about that? How do you go about decreasing that anxiety you feel just being in your own body? That's really tough. Like, if you just feel anxious being in your own body because the number on the scale isn't what you want it to be, or maybe you feel like you haven't been eating as perfect as you want to be eating. It's really, really challenging, but the first step is it's got to be some type of self-acceptance. You have to let go of identifying your self-worth with a number on a scale. You have to start to love your body. And that's, to me, I think it is the first step. You have to let go of only loving and accepting your body if it's at a certain weight or looks a certain way when you look in the mirror. I truly believe you have to. I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care if you're healthy, unhealthy, happy, miserable, you name it. But the first step is just accepting your body for what it is right now, today, in the present, and just being okay with it. Loving it, being okay with it. And I'm not saying, it means you don't have goals. It's not to say you don't still want to lose 5 to 10 pounds. It's not to say you don't want to start eating better, eating healthier, fueling your body better. It's not to say you don't want to make changes. But regardless of all that, regardless of how your habits have been or what you look like, you need to first start loving yourself and loving your body for what it is and what it allows you to do on a daily basis. It's not an easy step, but it's something to kind of be mindful of and start asking yourself, how do I get to that place that I can just love my body for what it is? I work with a lot of people, and I have worked with a lot of people, and this tends to be a very common issue. And, a lot of people feel like if they just lose weight, if they just get put on a diet, they'll be happier, they'll be healthier. And a lot of times you can't even do any of that if you don't repair your relationship with your body and your relationship with food first and foremost. that really is the goal. That really is the first step for many people, whether you're going on a weight loss journey, whether it's just whatever your goal is, you have to first be able to accept yourself. You also need to start thinking about your body in a different way. Instead of just thinking about it, the number on the scale, and being so focused on that, thinking about being just a healthier, or more fit, strive to be strong, strive to feel sexy, in the body that you have, without thinking about that in terms of a number on the scale. Focus on looking your best right now. And that's something a lot of people don't do too. I guess if you're younger, you don't really think about it this way, but a lot of clients they've worked with that are older, one of the most common things I hear when I ask people, what's a weight that you feel healthiest at? Or what's the number you're striving for in terms of weight? And I don't know how many people always go back to, well, when I was 18 and I was in high school and played lacrosse, I really liked the way I looked then. And we have this tendency to kind of go back to that high school number or maybe that college number. And your body is not even developed in high school. So if you're sitting here striving to be at a high school weight, then you need to understand that your body adjusts to different stages of life. And you're still going through puberty in high school. So if you're sitting here watching this video and you're 19, maybe that doesn't apply. But for the average person, you need to think about what stage of life you're in right now and what's most realistic. And thinking about, again, not necessarily that number, but thinking about looking and feeling your best version of you right now in the present. You gotta almost quit comparing yourself to your older self, your former self, and looking back and saying, man, if I could just look like that again. Sometimes that can even be very unhealthy and mentally taxing. So throw those thoughts out, focus on the present, focus on the body that you're living in right now, and how you can make it the best version of you, feeling healthier, feeling more fit and strong. Those of us that have had issues with disordered eating habits or maybe full-on eating disorders in the past, I think those are things that'll always be there, almost like an alcoholic. It's not something that you ever completely get rid of. Those issues that you've had, those thoughts, those negative behaviors, they're always kind of part of you. And I look at it as you're somewhere on that continuum, and sometimes you're doing better than others, but you can always shift back into that behavior. So I wanted to kind of give some tips on how to handle, some of the tough moments, the anxious moments, and trying to kind of rebuild your relationship with food and with your own body. First tip I want to give you guys is, number one, allow your thoughts to be your thoughts. So often we can judge ourselves on what our thoughts are. It's okay to have negative thoughts. It's okay that you wake up in the morning some days and you look in the mirror, you don't look in the mirror, maybe you don't feel good about yourself that day. Maybe you choose to eat something that you hadn't planned on and it's making you feel bad. Allow yourself to have those thoughts. It's okay. So oftentimes we judge ourselves and criticize ourselves in our own minds. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I, acting this way? Why can't I just be happy? Why can't I this? Why can't I that? And the first thing you can do is just be okay with it. Just acknowledge that you're having these thoughts and, you're human, and that is the first step, is just being aware that you're having them. But don't let it control you. Don't let it dictate your whole day. Don't let it ruin your whole mindset for the day. Just say, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now, and I'm just going to keep going about my business today and move on with it. The second tip I have for you is, food is just food. And it's hard to say it like that because food is so important to so many of us. It's such a sensitive subject. Food means something different to each and every one of us. But when you find yourself getting so worked up day to day about the food choices you're making or the food that you're surrounded by, try to just simplify it and remind yourself that food is just food. It's something we need. It's something we require to live life, but there's so much more to life. And I think about it like this, there's certain things that happen in life that really put things in perspective, right? And, one example is when people die. When people you love die, or you hear of some tragic event occurring, maybe people who are very young passing away for tragic reasons. And these things happen, and you have those moments where you're like, oh my God, like that's so unfortunate. You feel horrible. And it's kind of like it's a sad reminder, but it's a good reminder that there's so much more to life. There's so much to be thankful for. There's so much to be living for. And, try to, in a way, think about those things and live each day as positively as you can, and not like you're just so engrossed in food and that you're trapped in your food choices. We're never promised another day. So try to remember to just live each day to the fullest. Food is just food, and not to stress it as much as possible. Along with that, just thinking more positive thoughts. Every day is not going to be perfect. You're not going to feel perfect every day. No one is perfect. That's the beauty of the world. We're all perfectly imperfect. But try to turn your thoughts around a little bit when you are acknowledging that you're having negative thoughts about your body or your food choices. Try to change it to a positive. I like to use the example because this happens to me. If I go to work and maybe I eat something I didn't plan on eating for the day, maybe I didn't eat my lunch, maybe I indulged in something different. Sometimes I could let that absolutely destroy me. I could just let it sit up here in the front of my brain, thinking about it all day long, like I'm this horrible person that I didn't eat my turkey sandwich and I ate a slice of pizza instead. Well, that's just so stupid that you're going to let something like that ruin your entire day negatively. So try to just have a positive attitude about it. If you're going to indulge in something, indulge in it and be okay with it and just accept it. And think about the fact that your body is going to be able to handle it, right? You're not going to not be able to move the rest of the day. Your body's going to be able to digest it. Your body's going to be able to metabolize it. You're going to be able to go ahead and keep living life. So remember, food is food, and kind of try to take a more positive mindset towards it instead of letting anxiety overwhelm you, because honestly, usually what that does with people, and what I have found with certain clients I've worked with, when you do that, it just spirals downward and people continue to make choices that don't make them feel good. So try to just have a positive mindset. Like, okay, I chose to eat a slice of pizza. Life goes on. I'll eat my sandwich or my salad later. No big deal. And try to take a little bit more of a positive approach towards it. Another thing I think is really helpful for anyone struggling with this when you're feeling overwhelmed is just to sit down and kind of make a list for yourself, whether it's exercise goals, maybe it's sleep goals. Sit down and make a list of things that will make you feel better about yourself. Whether it's going to yoga, trying to incorporate that. Maybe you want to decrease the amount of alcohol you're consuming each week. Maybe you don't want to eat out. Maybe you're eating out every day. Anything like that. Just sit down, make yourself a list of things that you want to put into action for the week. And a lot of times when you actually sit down, journal it, write it out, it kind of makes things feel more real. And in a sense, it can be very therapeutic for people to actually sit down and write it out. I know for me, I've started doing a little bit more journaling, and if I'm feeling any kind of anxiety or negative feelings towards myself, I try to write it down and just write it down and elaborate what I'm feeling, and that's acknowledging how I'm feeling, and just kind of put it on paper somewhere. And there's a huge sense of relief for me when I do that. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's just good to get all that stuff that's going on up here, get it on paper and get it out of your mind. And sometimes it's this nice weight that comes off your shoulders and you're able to just kind of keep going about your day. The next tip I have is just stop with the all or nothing approach, all or nothing attitude. If I'm not at this weight, I hate myself. If I eat this food, I've ruined the day. I'm just going to keep eating crap the rest of the day. We have to kind of come into that middle ground and realize that it's progress, not perfection, and moderation, There's going to be no perfect days. So you need to quit taking that all or nothing approach that can really lend itself to a ton of anxiety. And we are coming into the holiday season where there's going to be loads of temptations around. So it's okay to allow yourself to have a piece of cake or whatever it is you want and not, feel like you've ruined the day or hate yourself over it and think negatively over it. So trying to find a way to come to that middle ground and balance it. And my last tip for those anxious moments is to, again, journaling. I can't preach that enough, but write down things that you love. And not only things that you love in general, but things that you love about yourself. We are all so quick, and it's super common, and just focus on what we're feeling down about, what we feel negative about, that we don't actually sit there and say, hey, let's talk about things we love today, and particularly yourself. So I actually bought a journal that each day of the journal starts with I love. And I like that because a lot of times when I think about journaling, I want to write down negative things. So I like when I go to journal, the first thing I write about are things that I love. And in particular, if you're struggling with body image, self-image issues, write down each day things you love about yourself and love about your body. We can so easily say things we love about other people. It makes it really hard, and that's kind of a really sad thing to think about when you ask someone to tell me a few things you love about yourself. What if I ask you this right now? Tell me 5 things you love about yourself, or 5 things you love about your body. Would you struggle with answering that question? Do you struggle with answering that question? I want you to write something down right now while you're watching this video and see if you can do that. And if you can't, then that's an area that you might want to focus on working with, because you have to love and accept your body first and foremost if you're going to be happier, if you're going to be healthier, and have an improved relationship with food and just in life. It'll make things a lot less stressful the quicker you can improve your relationship with yourself and food. So think about that a little bit and try to start your day being more positive, whether it's just in your head every morning when you get up. Maybe start the day with doing some stretching and think to yourself what you love about yourself. So oftentimes we don't do that. So I just want to switch gears and also talk about just a few things I want to throw in there that are going to be some long-term helpers to assist you with those anxious feelings about your food and your body. And first and foremost is sleep, people. And I know this for myself, but there's studies being done on it. The more sleep deprived you are, you have these irrational thoughts, you're a bit more moody, cranky, depressed, etc. So focus on sleep. That needs to be a long-term goal, is to get your sleep in order. And if you can get more sleep, you're going to feel better. You're going to be able to start the day a little more level-headed, not as moody, probably not as cranky with yourself. Give yourself a bedtime and try to stick to it. I've tried to give myself a bedtime recently, and it's helped me a little bit more. That I'm like, okay, realistically, I know I should be in bed at this time, but I want to be in bed definitely before this time. And obviously something we all struggle with, especially us social media people, is getting off your phone and getting away from it and shutting down and unwinding to help assist you with sleep if you're someone that just struggles feeling tired at night. That can help you. But definitely focus on your sleep and find a way to get more sleep. That is crucial for your mental health, and that's part of your relationship with your body and with food. Other things that are going to help you in the long term with just feeling better or are focusing on having a balanced diet. And I'm not saying that it's a perfect diet, but trying to find ways to fit foods in your diet that are full of nourishment. Think about foods that are going to make you feel better, feel healthier. I know I like to eat on convenience a lot of times because I feel like life's so busy and I don't have time to plan. And so it's so much quicker to grab a Quest bar than to have a big, healthy, balanced meal planned out. But for me to eat a Quest bar versus if for breakfast I have some oatmeal with strawberries and egg whites with veggies and goat cheese and whatever else, avocado, did I already say that? That's like such a different breakfast, providing my body with so many different other micronutrients that I'm not getting from a Quest bar. And you don't get the same satisfaction or appreciation for food. So finding a way to get in more balanced, nourishing foods is just going to make your body feel better because you're nourishing it better. Another thing we need to address is having a plan of action for when you do have those negative thoughts. As I mentioned, one of the first steps is just acknowledging them, not judging yourself, allowing them to occur. But then you also have to take it a step further and have a plan of action for what you're going to do when those negative thoughts sneak in there. You know, they can sneak in there and you can say, screw the day, I'm going to just, not get out of bed today, or I'm going to binge eat, or I'm going to not go to the gym because I don't want to. So you have to have some kind of plan of action to bring yourself out of that negativity. If you're able to, I've recently downloaded a meditation app, Headspace. I know I'm behind the times on that because a friend told me about it ages ago and I only just downloaded it. But if you can do some type of meditation, which does require you to be in like a quiet setting, so I know sometimes that's hard, but I think that can be very helpful for people. And if it's not necessarily all out meditating, even if it's just stretching, even if you just get on the floor, I love just doing a forward bend, touching my toes, doing some deep breathing and focusing on the stretch, focusing on how my body feels, kind of removes all the other thoughts. You're focusing on what your body is telling you at the moment. Doing something simple like that can really help get rid of the negative thoughts. Okay, you acknowledge they're there, but do something else to pull you out of that slump. I know a lot of people say just sitting there and doing some deep breathing. You might find you do this during the day sometimes with just a big sigh. If you can sit there and have some mindful deep breathing, sometimes that can help you as well. So figure out what a good plan of action is for you that's realistic within your lifestyle that you can implement. So when that negativity does creep in there, you can somehow address it and not let it take over your entire day. And another tip I have for you, especially with social media being so huge right now, is we have to stop comparing. You have to quit living your life comparing it to others. You have to quit comparing it to old versions of yourself and quit comparing it to people that you're never going to be. You're never going to be someone else. There's no such thing as a perfect body. So the sooner you eliminate that thought from your mind, the better. We look at people in these ideal worlds like they're perfect and they have it all. No one does. No one's perfect. You will never have the perfect body, nor will I, because no such thing exists. It's not to say you can't make changes to your body, have a slamming body, and love your body, but there's a difference with always feeling like you're not good enough and that you're not perfect. And if you feel like you're following people on social media that make you feel some kind of way, that you're constantly comparing yourself to, and it's making you feel bad because you don't look like her, or you don't have what they have, or you don't, then get rid of them. Unfollow. Go on through and do a little cleanse and get rid of some people that aren't bringing you any positivity in your life because you don't need that. It's not to say it's their fault, but certain people can make you feel a certain kind of way. So if you need to, go through, do a social media detox, and quit comparing yourselves to others. So that's a whole lot of stuff going on, just some basic tips, kind of a lot of different ideas I have on just thinking about loving yourself and first and foremost, trying to improve your relationship with your body and with food. I think it's just so important, and I just want people to acknowledge that really is the key, and that is the key to success. If you're someone that's struggling to lose weight, gain weight, what have you, you have to first start loving yourself and find ways to work through the negativity. So I hope this video was helpful. If you guys thought so, please comment below. Let me know. There's tons of other ideas out there, so if you have some great ideas or things that have helped you, or some other areas that you want some tips on how to better love yourself, love your body, and appreciate things, then just comment below and I'll do my best to address those in upcoming videos. Hope you guys enjoyed and keep checking back for more. to kind of like go back in time a really long time, because I'm talking about competing and how that impacted me, but I don't want people to be confused that I feel like competitions are to blame. I know a couple people did comment that on my photo, and I do think competing can be really triggering and can be damaging for a lot of people. It can also be really amazing. I mean, I feel like competing to me is a good memory for me. It's a good positive thing that's been in my life. I don't look at it as like